Well, hello, friends, neighbors. John, your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome out to the deck. I know it's Sunday, and I should shoot some samples, but I've been promising a big bourbon shoot off for a while, and I'm excited for it, and I thought I'd like to share with you. So today, I'm going to do a blind across four excellent barrel-proof bourbons. I like all of these, right? When you come back, we're going to look at Bulleit barrel-proof. This is batch 6. Knob Creek single barrel. It's not a store pick. Rarebreed. This is the 116.8, and then this is a single barrel foolproof 1792 from Wine and Beyond. So if you stick with me, you better pour some bourbon. I'll try to do it as quick as I can, but comparing four big bourbons blind just might take some time. 3, 4. Thanks for staying with me. I don't think the last thing I said should have been, this might take some time. I will clean it up. It should still be worth a watch. But as I said, we're going to look at Bulleit. Bulleit is a sourced bourbon. This is a couple of blends go in here. And it's a 58.3. Rumor is it's still from Four Roses, but I'm not really sure about that. They do have their own distillery. Of course, Knob Creek, Jim Beam product. This is one that carries the 9-year age stamp. It's 60% ABV. It is a single barrel product, but it's not a store pick. Then, Rarebreed from Wild Turkey. This is, I think, 58.4% ABV, and pretty much a staple on my bar. And then the last is this foolproof 1792, which, as I said, was a store pick by Ryan Egan for Wine and Beyond. And what's it coming in at? 62.5%. So it's actually the heaviest in terms of percentage. In my neck of the woods, this is on the shelf right now for $43.95. What a steal. This is regularly about 50 to 65. It really varies quite a bit. The Bulleit sits around 80, and the foolproof also somewhere around that 80 to 90 range. So, these are the more expensive. This is always a bargain, but this is often a really good bargain too. So I've had my daughter actually pour these blind and put colored dots on them. So I've got green, yellow, red, and blue. Now, of course, they don't correspond to this. You pour them in the house, and then we put it out here. So I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'm going to nose and then taste. And I might, if I can get the time in, I should water them down and taste them with water. But we'll see how it goes. So first, the green on the nose. This is going to be hard. I love all these bourbons. This is light, sweet, vanilla. Not a lot of spice coming off it. And not a lot of fruit. Kind of playing into that, that vanilla, cinnamon, light toffee. Just kind of classic bourbon. Yellow. So this has a little more cracked pepper on it. Some light fruit. Just a real quick comparison back to the green. Now this has developed. We now have a little more caramel. Still not a lot of fruit, but a little more richness to that than the yellow on the nose. Nothing wrong with the yellow. It's just not as rich as this green dot. Okay, I'm going to try nosing the next two. We've got, I said this is red. It's a whole lot more like orange. Try the orange dot. A little dusty oak in there. Some spice, a little more cracked pepper, a little less rich. Boy, these are tough on the nose. Of course, I am outside as well. Makes nosing just the hardest thing. We're going to go with this blue dot, last one. Oh, some nice ginger in that. Almost some baked cinnamons. Okay. This is still my favorite. Possibly my second. Okay, those are about the same. Now this one just came up with a nice little bit of cherry. boy, you know, the challenge is absolutely going to be out here in the open air. The nosing on these, incredibly similar. I do have an evolving favorite. It's so rich. Whatever this one is, beautiful dram. They're all great, honestly. But this one has a really interesting ginger note that's evolving. Yeah, I'm going to put it ahead of that and see if that cherry came back. Yeah, there is a nice fruit to that. Okay, so after nosing these, and I'm not guessing identities to maybe the end. That's the worst part. I just want to tell you what I'm smelling and what I like. So this one just continues to be richer. It's got, you know, so yeah, they all have vanilla, caramel, a little bit of spice, oak. That's in all of them. It's more, what are the proportions, or what is it reminding me of, or what's cueing me to say, oh, I think I like that a little more. And this one to me is just a little richer. Caught a little sourness on that one, which I hope didn't make me think it's a certain one. This beautiful, beautiful, just nice proportions. This orange has a little evolving fruit in the blue. Nice, but a little more generic. So that's my rankings on the nose. I'm just going to write it down, then I'll come back. Back doing this big bourbon blind. What's the best? I'm going to go palate. I'm going to start actually with the one that the nose was not my favorite. So we're going to lock it blue on the palate. Hope you got some bourbon to sip longer. This is going to be way too long. Very spicy, peppery, hot cinnamon, full bloom, lots of oak, dry. We'll try orange. Cheers. That is a little creamier. There's a tartness to it, a real tart, sharp, almost apple. And that one was also getting more fruit on the nose. So that is interesting. Trying yellow. Cheers. Puckering. Not as hot as the first one. Not as fruity as this one. Runs hot. Good hug. Feels like higher rye. Drying. Did I say that? Oaky. Drying and oaky. Okay. Then the one I like the nose the most. This one has a little nut or a little coconut cinnamon husk. Not a lot of fruit. So first round through, I may be liking the fruit of this one, then this one. I'm going to come back to these two. So another sip of yellow. That's cleaned up a bit. That is good. Ooh, that is sipping really nice. In the blue. It's still staying all about the oak and all the spices around the oak. Yeah, and almost a little bit of this one, very oaky. Very oaky. And that depends on my mood and what your palate might pick up. If you're in the mood for spicy, oaky, awesome full bourbon, this might rise to number one. For me, it's staying back there because it's lacking a few other dimensions that I really like. I think I'm going to sip one through. I'll probably cut it out and cut it back in and see if this is still the way I'm going. I sipped my way through it again, and I made one change from when we were last together. This blue one that is very oaky and spicy, when I kind of went through this, this yellow one came up really hot. Like all of a sudden, just a bloom of cracked pepper. So much that it actually took a little bit of water and some time to kind of get back into it. And because of that real heat, I actually put it to the end. So this is my palate choice. This came up pretty quick as a favorite. Nice, like a real, for me, a cherry balancing with a thicker oak, and then a little bit of nut or dark espresso or heavy chocolate. Like one of those notes came up, and I like that. So that is my first palate. Green. Now I've forgotten what the highlights are. I didn't write it down. You know, it's clean. It's almost refreshing. There's some soured fruits in there. I just like the taste of green, and blue. Really good oaky spices, dark spices, thick spices, but heavy aggressive oak. And in this moment, that moves it down. And then, as I said, you know, that the orange or yellow. Sorry, the yellow. It suddenly got really hot. That's why it's at the end. So these are my palates. I'm gonna write them down as my favorites. Depending on how you want to rate a score, right? I just basically I just ranked it. So if something was 1, then it was my first pick in nose. If it was 1, it was my first pick in palate. And then you add it up, and it's like golf. Your lowest score is your best. So just doing the math, my favorite, combining nose and palate scores, would actually be green. So that would be my favorite bourbon in this lineup. Second favorite, really close between red at 4 points and, not that close, sorry. It would be red, this one at 4 points, right? So green was first, this was next. Then at 6 points was yellow, all right? And then blue really was my last, because it kind of came in third or fourth both ways. So I overall, taking everything into consideration, green, then red or orange, yellow, and then blue is my ranking, and I'll reveal that to you. Now, I stand by this. In the palate, you know, it all came together. I like this one, but I like the nose a little better here. So that's why I stand by this ranking. I'm going to guess what the bourbons are. Now, I think that's the least interesting thing here, because I am not so well versed in these bottles that I can pick them out in a blind very well. Instead, what I want to own is that this today is my favorite. I've got nice balance, a little bit of soured fruits, you know, good nose, drew me in. I've got richer cherry, a little bit of balanced spices. Is there some nut or heavy chocolate? I've got, you know, it's hot in the palate, but I remember liking was it ginger? Yeah, that nose, very good. And this one, you know, I could see this being my favorite on another day, because it is so, and that was just delicious and could immediately change my score. But definitely pronounced, you know, oak forward nature. I want to stand by it. Today, this was my ranking in terms of what I like in bourbon, not necessarily what I like in the bottles. I'm going to guess which bourbons are which. Now, I think that's the least interesting. I think what I've tried to do here is say today, this is the ranking. Oh, you know what? You probably can't see the 3D the way I see it. So let's try to do it. Okay, so green was my favorite, then red or orange, and then yellow, and then blue. So the favorite is toward me. I think that's a better way to rank it, probably for you guys to see. So, you know, I'm going to guess what they are, but I really don't know. The green overall was my overall pick, and I'm actually going to say I think that's Rarebreed. I love Rarebreed. I thought I got some sour notes on it. It's really good. The red orange, it is the richest bourbon up here. Like I really now could bump off green. Like it's so good. Okay, last minute change. This is the richest. The palate just has, I know the numbers comparing nose and palate, even though this was, but I'm bringing this back to be my number one. So I apologize for that last minute shift, but just as I took that sip, this is the richest. So I think I said this one, which I'm now putting in 2, is Rarebreed. And this one, I thought, this is my favorite bourbon today. And I love Knob Creek. So I'm tempted to say it's Knob Creek. But Ryan Egan makes a mean store pick. I do remember it being very oaky. So I'm torn between thinking this is Knob Creek or 1792. Same with this. Oh, okay. This is really the best bourbon up here today. I'm going to go 1792. That makes Knob Creek. And that makes Bulleit as my last one. So 1792, Rarebreed, Knob Creek, Bulleit. Okay. Again, I really don't think does John know his whiskey is as cool as does John able to share what he likes. And in this comparison, what his favorite is. So oh shoot, which one did I say was 1792? Okay, so best bourbon up here today, 1792. So glad I made that last minute change. And then is green. Oh, it's not. So I thought this was Rarebreed. I really did. I still think it's Rarebreed. But according to the key, so I'll put these in order. So 1792 was first. And according to the key, Bulleit was the second best bourbon today. That I was wrong. I thought it was Rarebreed. So then the third best was Rarebreed. And I said that was Knob Creek. And that means my favorite bourbon actually was my fourth today. You know, did I get any of them right? I got the 1792 right. I got one bourbon identified right. But what I would stand for, as I was saying in the lead-in, is I think blinds, rather than identifying a bourbon, are much better about saying, what's your palate telling you? What do you like? And I have sung the cherry slight peanut oak of the Knob Creek every time. Today, it was spicy, oaky, almost over oaked, and it put it all the way to the back. I stand by my flavor choices really overall. I know I made the last minute on this Bulleit. I am genuine. I'm not surprised that 1792 came out strong. This is a phenomenal bottle. Ryan knows how to pick it. Very surprised that this Bulleit beat out either of those. I honestly thought I was talking Rarebreed as my second choice. I love Rarebreed. I love all of these. Knob Creek, I have another open bottle on the shelf. I like it that much. But today, 1792 took the round. I did label it. In fact, it was the only thing I got right. But I got a lot more wrong than right, but not in the flavor and not in the nose. This was fun. Thanks for joining me. I hope you and a friend can go through this, because blinds, I think, are one of the best ways to get to know, what am I actually tasting? What am I thinking? So thanks for joining me. Thanks for coming out here on the deck for Sunday. I apologize for the audio. I'm working on a better mic, but it's still great just to talk with you guys. Enjoy the week. See you on the next round.